welcome to another exciting episode of True to Blueprint. I know you guys couldn't wait. Oh, no, you couldn't subscribe. That's the problem, right? They can wait. Okay, we're trying a new thing here where we don't look at each other and like turn our worst side to you. And so we're looking at each other over here on this monitor that you're not aware is here. And, well, you probably know we have a monitor. See how that works? I like it. I like how that
Look
works.
at me. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Look at me in the eye. Look me in this eye.
So I think Mary had something done to her eye.
Yes,
Why don't you explain what happened here? It's another stupid aging trick. That
I had cataract surgery, so I had a cataract put in. No, I had a cataract
you
removed
took your mind?
and a lens put in. And I'm waiting for the okay from the ophthalmologist to take the patch
And then
off.
you're going to have pretty much like vision, only you'll need reading glasses because
That's correct.
Because you're older.
Right.
Okay. Well, terrific. Isn't it nice to have easy problems?
This is an easy problem.
And
It was hard to color in the maple leaf, though, with only one eye.
Well, and I'm glad that you didn't buckle under the pressure of me saying that's not the modern maple leaf. Get the modern maple leaf. That one's tricky.
Yes, this one's easier to color.
Yeah. So just today. She's not like this forever. She's going to heal. She's going to be able to wear makeup too.
Maybe I'll be a pirate for Halloween.
That's not a bad idea. Why don't you be William Nylander?
Don't you look at me like that.
Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more about Nylander today. But first, I couldn't help but notice, even though I'm trying not to notice a lot on Facebook, that Paul Michael Kornatz, I know how you feel. Your rant was like going through my entire soul of how angry I am. It's like, oh, it's all over. What? We lost one game. We lost a game we should have won. And we won a game that really by all rights we should have lost. And then we won a game where nobody really wanted to win, but it sure as hell didn't want to lose. And guess what? I told you that was going to happen. They got to learn to play together. You're adding new things. And when you play the style of hockey, it's so dependent on speed, but you don't get to those speeds until you know where each other's going to be. Thus, Bab's quote of trust equals speed. It's like I was saying, Mary's like, what does trust have to do with it? Not leave your wallet out, and not that kind of trust. Trust like how I know that you didn't buy me the peace sign earring. That kind of trust.
Right.
Knowing what people do, the way I talk about, how the show is developing, turning into a big hit. You better watch out, all of you, do your two shows, and knock you off the canvas. Knock you right off. So, I just want to say, Paul, the galling thing is that these people don't realize. You have a quote I pulled, and I don't know if I'll read the whole thing, because when I read it again, I just thought, we try not to say those things on the air. We're living in a great time period to be a fan, but you're also stuck in your ways that you want to put down the horse after a hangnail. They do. Because they don't understand hockey. You think it's so unique that they're not understanding that a team is trying to play together. Every year that the New England Patriots are great, they have the worst beginning. Okay, they look horrible. Last year they looked absolutely horrible. They only went to the Super Bowl. This year they looked horrible for a couple of weeks. And they will probably go to the Super Bowl again. Okay? Because when they make those adjustments, they know they don't have time to sit down and go over every little detail. You got to know where people are. And there's a lot of giveaways. This happens to every team. I don't think... Oh, Ray, I'm just looking at you over here. I don't think people appreciate that at the beginning of the year, there's no team whose defense is playing well. But you can do things to really hurt yourself, like the San Jose Sharks did. You could get yourself a nice, expensive Erik Karlsson, give up a bunch of promising players. That's not meaning that you gave up anything, but you gave up promise. And this guy comes in, and last night the New York Islanders beat the San Jose Sharks 4-0, and Erik Karlsson was standing there watching 3 of those goals go in. So far, he's -4 in 3 games, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got 1 point. Okay, so you thought this guy could be a savior? This is a guy who will come in. He doesn't wait for you to know him. He doesn't wait for you to trust him. He comes in and he does your thing, and you all can work around it, okay? That's what we're trying to avoid. And the longer that this whole situation gets exacerbated, where we're having to learn to put new people in, it's going to take time. If this is still going on in December, I'll be the first one to stand behind you and say, this thing is not working. But guess what? It's not going to be, okay? It's just that simple. I don't know why, and this is the part, Paul, that I really think is the interesting part, and the part that probably caught my eye the most, is the idea that somehow it hurts you for them to be so incredibly, blazingly, foolishly wrong. Okay? It doesn't. The only thing, and this is why I'm staying off Facebook, you get the impression on social media that if people don't like your comment, all of a sudden they dislike your comment. You know, you're unpopular now. No one likes you. No one liked that picture of me. 39 people always like that picture of me, and now maybe they didn't freaking see the damn picture, okay? And maybe these people don't know how to watch hockey, and maybe they don't understand this plan. And let me tell you, as a person who's been talking about this plan now for how long has it been? Since, well, talking about it for 2 years, but doing a show on it, what, we're in 8 months or something like that? Something like that.
At least.
And I can tell you, people don't pay attention. They don't watch hockey. And when you let those people get to you, and Paul, I love you. I mean, I couldn't agree more with the sentiment, but the fact is you give them something. You empower those assholes, okay, when you do that. No, they will all be there. I wish I was taking names. I've said before, I wish this was all like a fairy tale where, you know, if you didn't help make the bread, you're not going to get to eat it, okay? But that's... unfortunately, that's why they tell you those fairy tales, so that you might, in the back of your mind, not be like that. And guess what? Those are violent, disgusting, politically incorrect fairy tales that the kids who are giving you shit right now, they never heard. Just like they never saw, like, cartoons where people did stupid shit and, like, cut their foot off, okay? Because that also would be wrong. So, I'm telling you, this generation is in trouble, but guess what? I don't care. I'm going to be dead by the time they have power. So I'm not worried about it. Party on. Okay, they don't even know how to do that, but that's cool. Anyway, and watching, see what you can see that's great. Zach Hyman. Okay, nobody talks about Zach Hyman. I talk about Zach Hyman. I've never seen anybody so furiously refuse to give up on possession of the puck. And he's amazing. And then there's Mitch. Remember Mitch Marner, who they said last year at this time probably wasn't going to fit in? You know, it's too small, you know. Take time. Put him on the Marlies. He looks as dominant as he did when he was on the London Knights. He looks like he controls the ice at the same level he did there. I'm telling you, this kid is remarkably special. But, you know, we have some problems. And before we get to the main problem, that I'm just getting used to the idea that we're not going to have William Nylander with us this year, or if we do, it's going to be kind of like until we can deal him away. And in the meantime, Babs is sitting on that bench thinking to himself, what can I do? Because I don't think we're really putting enough offensive pressure on him. So what does he do? He says, Kasperi Kapanen, why don't you come and play that role? And the whole world changed. To me, that was the moment at which I realized I don't really care what happens. I mean, I hope William Nylander has a lovely life. And if he comes to his senses, he can take a pay cut and come back. But you know, and nobody's going to do the offer sheet thing. Okay.
You said that with absolutely no sarcasm in your voice. Like you really meant it.
Which part?
He can take a pay cut and come back.
He can. I'm not going to be mad at him. I mean, if he realizes that this was someplace to be, there's a certain amount of understanding of how to play with Austin that he has that I didn't think anybody had, but I'm seeing Kapanen out there, and I've been telling people for 2 years, this Kapanen, he's something special. It's a matter of getting to the point where his experience matches his talent. And like a lot of guys who make a lot of mistakes finishing and stuff, he's just too fast. He gets there and then I'm supposed to do something fancy with the goalie. And now he's catching on to that. He also has Marlowe and Matthews on the line with him. So, I think he's doing pretty good. As far as Willie, this just becomes very difficult because I just don't believe he wants to be in. And the comparisons, do you want to talk about that? Let's talk about Willie for a minute. He wants Draisaitl money. Leon Draisaitl, the last time that the Edmonton Oilers made the playoffs, not last year, but the year before the last time, they probably will make it until they figure out how to actually make up for paying Draisaitl and McDavid too much money. So do you see where we're going with this? And of course they had like 10 top 10 picks in 12 years, and they also paid all of them. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins money. You see, if you're Nylander, you're seeing Ryan Nugent-Hopkins money and saying that's not enough. But he forgets that that's the same money being paid to Ehlers. That's the same money being paid to Pasternak. There's just a list of guys a mile long, okay? And I believe Nylander is in that category. He could sign shorter, and then we renegotiate with him at a time when he might have proved to us he's more valuable. I heard today the Vancouver Canucks are putting together a deal, but very frankly, they can't do a thing until we sign him, or they're gonna lose. The draft is in Vancouver, okay? So the home fans will lose the top 3 picks in the draft. So nobody's gonna want to do that. So,
Hear that, Willie?
excuse me, we may have to sign him and move on. That's really weird. I've done like 40 episodes, and this is the first time I've coughed. That's strange, because I see people do it all the time. All right. The name of the episode is... I don't know what the name of it is. I forgot.
We have no name.
Untitled. No, I'm going to get to it. I mean, to me, I'm dealing with trust equals speed means we have trust issues, but I think that's obvious. And then I thought, who knows the song, getting to know you, getting to know all about you, when I play with you, getting to know where you'll be, okay? That's what we're going for here, okay? And when that happens, you don't have to look, you don't have to check, you don't have to wonder, you don't have to worry, you don't think you.
The Willie and I.
Just
Instead of the King and I.
The Willie and I?
Yeah.
But that's not really who I'm talking about.
Okay, well, I thought it was cute.
Well, I like it. I mean, I've had other ideas, but that's just getting to know you would be a good song for that. I should think about that. Musicals are excellent. I could write an entire series of hockey parody musicals. My Fair Goalie and whatnot like that. Okay. I think I already wrote that one, maybe. Okay. I do. I have nothing to do, I need friends, I need euchre, and I need subscribers. And I need you to share it, okay? My commitment to hockey is absolutely real. And I see things like nobody else in the world does. Because somewhere along the line, I got out of the box. And I don't want to get back in. I know so much. I see so much about what's actually happening. I just get a bigger picture. And I've often said that no one's born smarter than anybody else, but you develop the right tools and you're going to excel at catching details. That's why Brendan Shanahan is able to quote Shakespeare and what was that, sit behind Tavares on the plane and not say anything
Somehow
to
magically
him.
sit behind.
Magically be sitting 3 rows behind him on the plane, but
And
never said a word
flight.
to him. Okay, this is, I don't know. Sometimes the psychological games here, I don't even want to speculate because I know too much about things like psychological games. But here's the problem. People are talking to me about agents like they're freedom fighters. Those awful owners. Got to get every penny out of those owners. There's a salary cap. Okay? Never mind my opinion of the salary cap. I think it's a bad idea. I think you have to set more general parameters. You see how many players you can have and what the maximum is and what the minimum is. And then don't deal with this because the Shakespeare quote today is, and I always forget it. I have it memorized for 2 days and then just like those contestants on Top Model, they do their CoverGirl commercial. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this one, man. I know all my life. And then the crickets. I love the little crickets. We need crickets. Anyway, let every eye negotiate for itself.
Let every eye.
Okay, she's only got one. I'm going to have more disagreement. So let every eye negotiate for itself and trust no agents. And this is the thing when you say agents are freedom fighters. No, they're not. They have no interest in this except their own bottom line. It's all they care about. And they're going to want to keep teams guessing and not being very good. So they have to keep making blockbuster deals. They have to keep looking into these bidding wars. That's what happened to San Jose. I mean, first of all, Trevor Linden gets fired because he won't make an offer sheet to Erik Karlsson. Now, that's not a joke. That's for real. Steve Yzerman has to step back from his position because there's so much heat about not finding a way to sign Erik Karlsson. I'm telling you, Erik Karlsson is the proverbial hot potato. And whoever gets stuck with him is going to get burned. And that's what happened to San Jose. They had all their money on the table looking at a John Tavares type of item. But John only had eyes for us. Man, you know, I mean...
He only had eyes for us.
She needs her own show. No. So...
You're just feeding them to me.
I am. I don't... You know, that's what Italians do. You
Yes.
come over their house and they just start
Yes.
feeding you. Okay. And it's upsetting to me that people say things like, well, salary's private. If salary was private, this wouldn't be going on, okay? And any league that makes salary public, big news, headlines, players compete. Because they think, well, he makes this much, I gotta make more. What kind of freaking sibling rivalry is that? And this league keeps your injuries secret, okay? What are we doing? Well, it's a teenage girl, and it knows that injuries, you know, people go after that crap. And coaches will cheat. And that has nothing to do with the fact that you can sit at home and not know what happened to one of your players. You know, it was his UBI or his LBI. Upper body injury, lower body injury. That's all you got, okay? And it's just... Then, but you know every single clause in his freaking contract. You know, my dad, would your dad have gone for that? When we were growing up, you know, they weren't doing anything. My dad worked, he was a safety designing engineer at General Motors, what your dad was. Yeah, and they...
My dad was an engineer, but we never knew what he did. Because it was none of our business.
Well, exactly. And neither was how much money he made. You didn't tell the neighbors my dad.
Right.
You know? But if your dad had an injury, well, you did tell it. What happened to your dad? So we're talking about common sense being contramanded to the point where people say agents are freedom fighters, trying to stick it to the rich owners. No, they're not trying to do anything except make money. That's their only thing. They don't care about these young men. The rare ones that do are get held on to like crazy. And if you don't tell your agent exactly what your intentions are, they're going to exploit you. That isn't how it should be. Agents should work for you again. But I hear Austin Matthews saying, well, that's why we have agents. Well, maybe your agent knows what you want, Austin. But clearly, William Nylander thought that we were going to sign him no problem. And we would, if he would just agree to make what he is worth foreseeably right now. But...
So he's not getting wise counsel right now.
I don't
Somebody
believe so.
is telling him. Maybe it's his dad or somebody else.
No, what's happening is Leon Draisaitl got paid this. He's the second banana in Edmonton. Nylander's been the second banana. Now he's the third banana. And the first banana's making 11. Mm-hmm. The second banana's going to have to make a bunch of money because it's Austin Matthews. And we're not going to say no to him, most likely, unless he's totally unreasonable. So... maybe this is what happened. And if that's what happened, Willie, I'm really sorry. Because that I do understand. Knowing that you were like part of a 3-person thing and then finding out this is total teenage girl behavior. Then all of a sudden you're not part of it
Well,
anymore.
if there's a
and nobody
threesome,
bothered to tell
there's
you.
always going to be an odd man out.
Right.
There's
And
people.
I think for Nylander, he might be being convinced that somehow he goes to another team, he has success. And I know your dad played. When your dad plays, just like anybody's dad, they're telling you how he got screwed over. Your agent doesn't care about your dad. Your agent doesn't care about your career. Your agent cares about this thing. If you ink a long-term deal, your agent and you basically don't have to speak again. All right? So you're letting this man dictate how your life is going to go. What is going to be important to you? When you get up every morning, you're not playing with Mitch Marner, when you're not playing with Austin Matthews. And I say that this, knowing Shanahan, I believe this has been a contingency the whole time. I refuse to believe otherwise, because honestly, they could have settled this. They could have signed Nylander before July 1st. But once they signed JT, his agent decided, well, they're not going to get away with that. Get away with what? Okay? Get away with what? JT came to this team because he wanted to be here. That is very, very clear. And he certainly is playing. He's every bit the player that everybody said he could be, but you'd only see it once in a while. And now you're seeing it all the time. He's producing right now at a prodigious level. We'll see if that continues. He's winning face-offs like he was born to the thing. I mean, God, I love that. So, I'm sorry, Willie. This probably isn't going to work out. And I think when they got JT, they knew that one of these guys they probably have to take a hard line with. And they're doing it with Willie. And I don't think the line is that hard. I don't think they're being unreasonable. But that's where we're at. So, everybody, we got games. We're playing tonight against the Dallas Stars. That ought to be fun. They've given up the most goals in the whole league, and that ought to be really fun. I think that's a lot of fun. Listen, subscribe, like, spread it around the social media landscape. And I think we're still going to have only one next week, but then we'll be starting two. And I'll be back. She will too, but I can't promise for... Oh, okay, I will. We promise.